Selamat berjumpa kembali dalam program Standing Ovation. Saya Vivi Alaida Yahya. Dan kali ini kami hadir dari Indonesia International Institute for Life Sciences atau I3L. Narasumber Standing Ovation seperti biasa adalah sosok-sosok yang sangat istimewa. Dan kali ini kami hadirkan dari negara tetangga yang sangat dekat sekali. Siapakah narasumber kami kali ini? Mari kita saksikan tayangan berikut.
Indonesia dan Singapura adalah negara tetangga. Dan Duta Besar Anil Kumar Nayar adalah sosok di balik keharmonisan hubungan tersebut.
Apa kabar teman-teman Indonesia? Nama saya Anil Kumar Nayar. Saya adalah Duta Besar Singapura di Republik Indonesia.
Sejak menjabat sebagai Duta Besar Singapura untuk Indonesia pada tahun 2012 lalu, ia telah berkeliling ke beberapa wilayah Indonesia untuk menjalin hubungan baik antara Indonesia dan Singapura. Pada masa jabatannya, peraih gelar Master of Arts dari Universitas Johns Hopkins Amerika Serikat ini telah bertemu dengan beberapa tokoh di Indonesia. Tujuannya beragam, mulai dari kunjungan silaturahmi, kunjungan pembangunan bersama, hingga pertemuan yang bersifat sosial.
Indonesians are among the friendliest people that I've had the privilege to meet and interact with.
Yang jelas, semua itu dilaksanakan demi menjalin kerjasama dan mempererat hubungan antar bernegara.
I really hope that future generations of Singaporeans and Indonesians will continue to build on the very strong cooperation and close relationship that we have between our two countries. This is something that we cannot take for granted, and this is something that we must continue to work hard to build on.
Sambut Duta Besar Singapura untuk Indonesia Yang Mulia Anil Kumar Nayar. Bapak Duta Besar, selamat datang di Standing Ovation. Terima kasih, tadi kami sudah memberikan sambutan yang meriah untuk Duta Besar kita, Bapak Anil Kumar Nayar. What went through your mind when you were asked to speak in front of this intelligent and young crowd today?
I think the answers in your question, you said intelligent and young crowd. So I'm always very happy to meet intelligent, young, and even not so young people. And fortunately, in my job, I have a lot of opportunities for that. Really like to thank Metro TV, of course, and I3L for giving me this opportunity to come to this wonderful campus and to meet all of you here. And of course, I'd like to thank you in advance for taking the time to be here today. And I promise that I will try my best to answer all the questions that you have.
Dalam letak geografis, Singapura adalah negara tetangga terdekat bagi Indonesia. Dalam praktiknya, kedekatan ini menuntut hubungan yang erat, harmonis, dan produktif demi hubungan bilateral maupun dalam kerangka ASEAN. Hubungan diplomatik kedua negara diresmikan pada September 1967. Secara politik, hubungan keduanya pernah mengalami fluktuasi karena terbentur isu masing-masing negara. Namun, kedua negara ini memiliki fondasi dasar yang kuat, sehingga hubungan justru menjadi lebih konstruktif dan strategis. Seperti layaknya hubungan yang baik, kedua negara saling mengisi kekosongan satu sama lain. Negara kota ini turut membantu meningkatkan ekonomi Indonesia, taraf hidup masyarakat, serta mengadakan kerjasama dalam berbagai bidang. Dan Indonesia juga turut berkontribusi dengan menjadi mitra dagang yang baik bagi Singapura. Ikut sertanya kedua negara dalam masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN menggambarkan bahwa hubungan kedua negara kian erat dan menguntungkan satu sama lain.
Kerjasama antar negara bisa menjadi hal yang sangat luas. Namun yang terpenting, kerjasama dapat menjadi sebuah sarana guna mencapai tujuan bersama dan memecahkan berbagai persoalan yang dialami masing-masing negara.
Mr. Ambassador, what are the highlights of the current bilateral relations between our two countries at the moment? The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. When you look back at the relationship, even before there was an independent Singapore, and even before there was an Indonesia as we know it today, the relationship between the people of our two entities have been going on for a long time, much longer. There have been a lot of movement of people in both directions. And I don't just mean tourism. People who have moved over to Singapore and continued their lives there, and people from Singapore moving over to Indonesia. And it's a relationship that has been tried and tested through very difficult periods in our region. But I think the important thing to look at, even as we understand the close political, economic, and social relationship between the two countries continues, I think the key thing to realize is that yes, we have a lot of similarities, we have a lot of shared history, traditions, culture, but at the same time we are two different countries, and those differences have to be dealt with as equals, as partners. As long as both sides remember that, and as long as younger generations remember that, I think the future prospects for Singapore-Indonesia relations are indeed very, very strong.
Pemirsa, bagaimana hubungan bisnis ekonomi Indonesia dengan Singapura? Mari kita saksikan tayangan berikut ini.
Singapura adalah partner dagang Indonesia terbesar kedua setelah Cina, dan hingga saat ini Singapura masih menjadi investor terbesar bagi Indonesia. Kebutuhan yang berbeda dari masing-masing negara membuat Indonesia dan Singapura terus menjalin hubungan dagang yang intensif satu sama lain. Kerjasama ini terjadi dalam bidang barang, jasa, dan juga tenaga kerja. Singapura memiliki keunggulan di bidang ilmu pengetahuan, teknologi, dan networking. Sedangkan Indonesia cenderung fokus pada hasil alam dan sektor pertanian. Diresmikannya Masyarakat Ekonomi ASEAN pada Desember lalu membuat kerjasama ekonomi Indonesia-Singapura terjalin semakin mudah. Tenaga maupun investor dari Singapura akan lebih mudah masuk ke negeri ini, begitu pula sebaliknya. Dan kemudahan investasi ini pasti memberikan keuntungan tersendiri bagi sektor ekonomi Indonesia.
Kalau soal investasi itu dimanapun juga, Indonesia menerima dari negara, bukan hanya Singapura. Kalau ditanya tentang kemudahan, kita mempunyai tax treaty dengan negara-negara di dunia ini, hanya beberapa negara yang enggak. Kalau yang ditanyakan Singapura akan sama. Jadi nanti kalau dia berinvestasi di sini, dampaknya ya tentunya bisa menyerap tenaga kerja, ya gitu ya. Terus kemudian meningkatkan daya beli masyarakat. Kan itu aja. Keuntungannya pertama kalau orang berinvestasi di sini kita berikan kemudahan terutama mengenai tax holiday misalnya ya. Itu nanti kita akan bisa menciptakan objek pajak baru, baik itu dari karyawannya atau dari pajak penjualan atau PPN ya. Di sini keuntungannya. Jadi kalau orang berinvestasi, kita berikan kemudahan atau tax holiday, bukan berarti pajaknya hilang. Enggak, dia akan menciptakan objek pajak baru, bisa kita kenakan pajak lagi dan terus bergulir.
Mr. Ambassador, what are the significant issues that are related to our economic relations?
We have tried to position ourselves as a gateway for friends from other parts of the world to use Singapore to carry out some of their economic activities and businesses in Indonesia. Likewise, we also hope that our friends in Indonesia will use Singapore as their gateway to the rest of the world. So services, as you know, is a very important part of our economy and logistics. And we have been playing that kind of a supporting role with regards to Indonesia's own growth. Our role is to make ourselves relevant and useful to our friends. We always ask ourselves, what if one day the rest of the world wakes up and finds that Singapore has disappeared? There's no more Singapore. If life goes on as usual, nobody's affected, that means we have failed. So the onus is on us to make ourselves relevant and useful, and I think we will continue to do that.
Meski bertetangga, Indonesia masih tertinggal jauh oleh Singapura dalam aspek pengurusan perizinan. Proses birokrasi yang lambat menjadi alasan dan penyebab Indonesia berada pada peringkat yang jauh di bawah Singapura dan Malaysia. Bahkan, dalam beberapa pertemuannya, Presiden Joko Widodo sering menyinggung lambatnya proses perizinan di tanah air. Bayangkan, saat Singapura hanya membutuhkan waktu 2 hari, Indonesia membutuhkan lebih dari 50 hari untuk mengurus perizinan. Lambatnya proses izin usaha tentu menjadi pekerjaan rumah yang berat bagi segenap menteri dan jajarannya.
Dan kita ingat, Indonesia dalam kemudahan berusaha itu masih nomornya 109 dari 180 negara. Singapura nomor 1, Malaysia nomor 18, kita 109.
I'd like to move to a business permit. President Joko Widodo said it takes 52 days to get a business permit in Indonesia, while only 2 days in Singapore. Mr. Ambassador, what can we learn from Singapore in order to expedite that process?
I think the most important challenge is not technology, it's not rules, it's mindset. Getting people to understand what is the correct mindset that is required. I think in Indonesia, the phrase is mental revolution, right? In a way it is true, because even when Singapore started out as an independent country, the government's challenge was to make sure that the bureaucrats and the officials understood that their role was to facilitate investment, was to make things easy, convenient, helpful for investors to come in so that they would want to set up shop in Singapore and want to use Singapore, not the other way. Any piece of work that you do, you have to constantly revisit it, look at it to see, how can I improve this? What can I do to make it better? So you're constantly learning, relearning, unlearning, and that's what we try to do in Singapore all the time.
Kasih semangat dulu untuk Bapak Duta Besar.
Dalam sektor pariwisata, Singapura menjadi sumber wisatawan asing terbesar bagi Indonesia. Jutaan orang datang dari Singapura setiap tahun dan terus mengalami peningkatan. Bahkan, pada tahun 2014 jumlah wisatawan Singapura yang datang ke Indonesia mencapai 1,5 juta wisatawan. Namun, mayoritas masih terpusat pada Bali dan Batam. Tapi sebaliknya, Indonesia juga menjadi salah satu sumber wisatawan terbesar bagi Singapura. Selain berbisnis, tujuan utama wisatawan Indonesia adalah untuk wisata belanja, wisata kota, hingga mengunjungi pulau resort dengan taman yang memiliki tema. Beberapa tempat wisata dinilai sangat memesona bagi wisatawan Indonesia. Seperti bermain wahana di Universal Studio, mengunjungi hewan-hewan di Singapore Zoo, atau menikmati indahnya Marina Bay Sands di malam hari. Kedua negara jelas memiliki keunggulan pariwisata satu sama lain, dan kedekatan geografis memudahkan keduanya untuk saling bertukar wisatawan.
I would like to quote Raymond Lim from Singapore Tourism Board that there is a decrease in numbers of tourists from Indonesia to Singapore, and how do you plan to ensure that the numbers doesn't keep falling, Mr. Ambassador?
Singapore constantly tries to promote itself as an attractive destination to tourists from all over the world. whatever the reason, we will work doubly hard to make sure that we remain an attractive destination for our friends from Indonesia, as with the rest of the world.
What if we want to visit for a different destination, something new experiences? What would you recommend?
Well, if you're not into shopping, then I think for me, the personal favorite is always the museum circuit. We have a lot of nice museums in Singapore. Not many people know about it. They think Singapore is all about Orchard Road. Please go to Orchard Road. Don't follow Ibu Fifi's example. Please spend. But more importantly, the museums are fun. My personal favorite is the Asian Civilization Museum.
Tepuk tangan dulu untuk Pak Duta Besar ya. So, you've been posted in Indonesia since 2012 as ambassador, but your first post as a diplomat was in 1995 in Jakarta as well. So I'm sure you've tried many Indonesian foods, you've traveled to many other cities within Indonesia, but what is your favorite cuisine?
When I tell people that my favorite food in Indonesia is nasi goreng, they all say, are you for real? You know, nasi goreng, we have so much of nice food. Why do you say it's nasi goreng? Because it's fast, it's tasty. Different parts of Indonesia serve different kinds of nasi goreng. And most of all, it can be very cheap and affordable as well.
Pada sesi ini, mahasiswa yang hadir dalam standing ovation diberikan kesempatan bertanya secara langsung pada Duta Besar Singapura. Antusiasme mahasiswa tampak dari banyaknya pertanyaan yang diajukan. Berikut di antaranya.
I want to ask, let's say if there is this group of non-Singaporeans that are having research at Singapore academic, industry or government institutes, how is the regulation of the research funding for them? Is there any differences from the research funding for the Singaporeans? Thank you.
So Singapore spends quite a lot of money, invests a lot of energy, effort, investing in biosciences, IT, creative technology and so on. And we do it knowing fully well that we don't have all the expertise and all the talent within Singapore itself. We need to be able to attract our friends from other parts of the world to come to Singapore and to share with us their creativity. And I think those opportunities are there. If you are interested, please contact us at the embassy. We will do our best to link you up with the right people in Singapore. But that's an open invitation for everyone. Please do so. We are not in the business of saying, okay, we only want to nurture Singaporeans and everybody else can stay out. That's not the way Singapore operates. We want to work and grow together with all our friends from all parts of the world.
Next question, please.
My question is, learning from your experience and Singaporean experience, what do you think is missing or what do you think Indonesia needs to do if Indonesia wants to develop its knowledge economy? Thank you.
Well, my suggestion would be, it's very important to bring in the private sector. There is so much that the government can do. There's so much that the institutes of higher learning themselves can do. But at the end of the day, research and development needs money. Research and development needs to be able to show the research done is relevant to our life. My suggestion would be, because money is always a critical factor in R&D, bring in the private sector, enthuse them, energize them. Once they are sold on working on something together with the best minds, I think that's when R&D can really take off in all countries.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. You have to choose one best question. I'm sure it's very hard for you.
I will take the decision by using the easiest method possible. Now in business, people always talk about first mover. So the first person who asks the question today will be given the prize.
Selamat untuk Pauline ya. Pauline silakan maju ke depan. Hadiah yang luar biasa bernilai adalah sebuah buku Lee Kuan Yew. 1, akses untuk ke A-Star, yaitu sebuah lembaga ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi yang mengembangkan teknologi mutakhir dan inovatif. Dan tiket dari Singapore Airlines. Jakarta, Singapura, dan Jakarta. Pemirsa, demikianlah standing ovation untuk episode kali ini bersama Duta Besar Singapura untuk Indonesia yang mulia Anil Kumar Nayar. Saya Vivi Alaida Yahya, sampai jumpa. Sekali lagi tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk Bapak Anil Kumar Nayar.
Di acara ini bisa membuka wawasan terutama masyarakat Indonesia dan terutama mahasiswa-mahasiswa, di mana bisa kontak langsung dengan duta-duta besar, jadi lebih membuka wawasan dan jadi open-minded person.